All right, we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. We were talking about the different aspects of angles, talked about classifying angles, talked about naming angles, complementary, supplementary, and vertical and adjacent angles. So what this one says is to draw an adjacent complement for each angle. You're going to have to do this on your test. You're going to have to do this basically on digits where you are given a particular angle and you have to figure out what the complement of it is or the supplement of it is. The main thing that I want you to get out of this is understanding if it asks for a complement, you're trying to find another angle to add to it to get to 90 degrees. So if we have an 80-degree angle here and we're asked to find an adjacent supplement, what we want is an angle that equals 10 degrees because 10 plus 80 equals 90. So these two angles together should equal 90. Same thing with this one. If we were asked to find an adjacent complement to this one, we would have to figure out that the complement would be a 60-degree angle because 60 and 30 equals 90. And then for the last one here, 45-degree complement to this would be another 45-degree angle. So our complements would be 10 degrees, 60 degrees, and 45 degrees to figure out what the complements are. All right, moving along. Same thing here. If it's an adjacent supplement, instead of adding up to equal 90, we would want to add up to equal 180. So if we have a 50-degree angle here, our supplement would be 130 because together they have to equal 180 degrees. All right, 165. What would we have to add to that to get 165? If you're not sure, what you would just do is subtract 180 minus 165, and you're going to identify the supplement to that as being 15 degrees. Now, this last one, you know this represents a right angle, so this is 90 degrees. So our complement to that would be another 90 degrees because 90 plus 90 equals 180. All right, this next one says suppose angle ABC equals 48.4 degrees. Find the measure of its supplement. Again, supplement means 180. So we would have 180 degrees is what we're trying to get. We know that this one is 48.4, so all I would have to do is subtract 180 minus 48.4. And if you will subtract that, you're going to see that 180 minus 48.4 gives you 131.6. So our supplement to this would be an angle that measures 131.6 degrees. All right, now this one says you can use angle relationships to find missing measures. Since the two angles form a right angle, they are complementary. So we know that these two angles, this one right here that's 34 degrees and this one right here that's x, together, since they're complementary, they have to equal 90 degrees. So since these two are complementary and they equal 90 degrees, it makes sense that we could rewrite this as x plus 34 equals 90. We just solve the equation, subtract 34 on each side. So that cancels out the 34 minus 34. And then when we subtract 90 minus 34, that would give you the answer of 56. So x would equal 56 degrees. Or just 56. And then we could substitute it in here as the angle, which would be 56 degrees. All right, it says angles 1 and 2 are complementary angles. The measure of angle 1 is 24, and the measure of angle 2 is 3x. What is the value of x? So I do want you to copy this one down. I want you to have this example down for you. So we know that angles 1 and 2 are complementary. Angle 1 is 24, angle 2 is 3x, and we want to know the value of x. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our equation. So we know that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees since they are complementary. So I'm going to say angle 1 plus 90, angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. Angle 1 is 24. So I'm going to just say 24 plus whatever angle 2 is. In this case, angle 2 is 3x. So I say 24 plus 3x equals 90. And now we have our equation. And just go through the process of solving the equation. We have to get rid of this 24, so I'm going to subtract 24. If I subtract 24 there, I subtract 24 here. The two 24s cancel out. So I bring down the 3x. and 90 minus 24 gives you 66. So I now have 3x equals 66. That means multiplication, so I have to divide each side by 3. So that gives me now x equaling 22. So our value for x is 22. So let me put another line there. So x equals 22. So it says, what is the value of x? X equals 22, but what if we want to know what the actual value of angle 2 is? All I would have to do is take my value of the angle of 3x, substitute 22, so 3 times 22 will give you what the actual angle is, which gives you 66 degrees. So again, if you will copy this one down into your notes. All right, this one right here, very similar to the other ones. You have an angle here that's 47.6. This one's x. You can see here it's a right angle, so it equals 90 degrees. So if this one's 47.6, if you will figure out what x is. So I'll let you do that one. Okay, here's another one. This time we have a straight line, so a straight line equals 180 degrees. This one's 2x. That one is 50. If you will figure out what x is in that problem. And if you will do these two, this 1 and that 2 right there that you see, that's just referring to, this could be called angle 1, that could be called angle 2. Has nothing to do with the actual angle measures. Okay, let's do a quick review. Two angles are adjacent if they share a vertex and a side. They are side by side. I kind of refer to them as your next door neighbor. So we have angle B and angle C. These two angles, angle B and angle C, they are side by side. They have a common vertex. They share this common side right here. So these two angles are adjacent. So angle AOB and angle BOC are adjacent angles. These marks, as it says right here on an angle, make it easier to identify particular angles. So I have a red mark here and I have a blue mark. So is angle AOB adjacent to COD? Okay, do they share a common vertex? They do. But do they share a common side? They do not. So they are not adjacent. One little note I want you to put on your notes is this. Adjacent angles. Share a vertex and common side. And let me change the size of this, please. Give me just a second. Okay. They share a vertex and a common side. They do not overlap, nor are they inside each other. Okay, so adjacent angles. They are side by side, they share a common side, they share a common vertex, and they do not overlap, nor are they inside of each other or inside of one or the other. All right, so what I want you to do is try to figure out an angle adjacent to FAD. So I'm going to do this first one with us. So let's look at FAD. So this is this angle right here, FAD. We want to find an angle adjacent to it. So they have to share a common vertex. There's our vertex. They have to share a common side. So it would make sense that if they have to share a common side and a common vertex, that this right here would be our angle that we're looking for. So that would be angle BAD. So BAD. Or some of you may have put it as DAB. Now, if you'll go ahead and complete this, if you will do letter B, letter C, and letter D. All right, this next one, which angles are adjacent to EOD? So here is EOD. If you will figure out the angles that are adjacent to EOD, and there is more than one answer to this. So if you will work this one right here. All right, this next one, the measure of PRS is 80. So you know from here to here to here, that angle there is 80 degrees. This part of it is 25 degrees. This one's X. That should be fairly easy for you. So if you will work this problem, the measure of angle ABC. Here's ABC. is 100 degrees. Wants to know what the value of x is. This particular part of the angle is 60. This particular part of the angle is 2x. All right, the next part, vertical angles. Angles that are across from each other. When two lines intersect, the angles that are across from each other are vertical angles. So vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines and are opposite of each other. And vertical angles have equal measures. So angles 2 and 4 are vertical. Angles 1 and 3 are vertical. And vertical angles have the same measure. So 1 and 3 are equal. 4 and 2 are equal. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that so you can copy that part down. I'm going to actually skip this one, so don't worry about that. Okay? Name the angle that is vertical to ABC. So if you will, figure out what angle is vertical to angle ABC, which means it's going to be across from it. All right? What is the value of x? You know these are two lines. The skis represent two lines. This angle is 140. So we want to figure out what the value of x here. We know that these are vertical, so these two angles are equal to each other. So hopefully that'll help you out when you set up the equation there. So let me write this one down. Highlight this part. All right, this next one. What is the value of x? You know this is a straight line. You know this part is 40 degrees. You know that is 5x. I think you can probably figure out what this is based on this line right here. So your job is to figure out what x equals. And that is it. So what I want you to do now is, if you will, once you finish this, if you will work on your IXL assignments and your digits assignments that go with this.